So let's talk about immigration. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, as there is on any highly volatile and very difficult policy issue. One is that immigrants are responsible for crime, in particular undocumented immigrants or claimants to asylum or refugees. But overwhelmingly, the evidence shows, and has consistently for years, that immigrants, particularly those seeking asylum or refugees or undocumented, are less likely to commit crimes by several orders of magnitude than either native-born American citizens or not native-born American citizens. The last thing an undocumented immigrant wants to do is draw the attention of the police. They want to hide. They want to disappear into the community, disappear into hopefully work, school, housing, grocery shopping, whatever one does. They do not want to be in a position where there's suddenly going to be an enormous amount of official, legal policing attention to them. They're no more likely to commit crimes than anybody else, and in fact, for those kind of purposes, for those kind of reasons, less likely to do so. Crime is just not an immigration issue. It's in some ways the opposite of an immigration issue. I think the second misconception is taking jobs. There has been an enormous amount of research by economists, some sociologists. In general, there's very little evidence that immigrants take jobs, even from people whose jobs are relatively similar to the kind of jobs they would be doing. There are several reasons for that. One is that immigrants are simply willing to work harder for lower pay in worse job conditions without unionization than American workers. The reserve wage, the wage at which people are willing to take jobs, it's not coincidence that American workers mostly don't do construction, mostly don't do gardening, mostly don't do a lot of childcare. Those are hard jobs. They're sometimes dangerous. So immigrants take jobs, but they generally are taking jobs that Americans are much more reluctant to take, or at least won't take under the conditions in which immigrants are willing to take them. Actually, there's some pretty good evidence that immigrants create job opportunities rather than taking jobs away. So if you think about areas where population has moved away, and you suddenly get a big influx of immigrants moving into the community, that actually creates jobs. There's the possibility for opening small businesses. There are teachers in the schools. There are nurses in the local urgent care centers, construction workers. You have a big influx of people into a community. Jobs get created rather than replaced. A third misconception is that they're not patriotic. They're not American. They want to hang on to their language and not learn English. The perception that immigrants are not, cannot become, do not want to become American is, again, just flat wrong, with obvious occasional exceptions. Immigrant children actually prefer English, that sometimes families have a hard time in maintaining the language of their home country because the kids want to watch American TV, they want to have friends, they want to play video games with the other kids in school. That's all done in English. If you look at public opinion surveys, immigrants tend to be extremely patriotic about the United States. They're grateful to be here. They would like better conditions, and they would like to be accepted more. I mean, it's not that they don't have any concerns, but they come to the United States sometimes under extraordinary difficult conditions because they want to be here, because they think there are jobs, perhaps for religious reasons, perhaps because they think their children are going to have a lot better life. I mean, these are self-selected movers into a country that they expend an enormous amount of time, energy, money, physical danger to get to. So they really want to be in the United States.